The most surreal thing in the world and the most humbling thing in the world is when you're sitting in your own living room and we have horses and cows and we sell hay and we do all the things that a ranch does. You know, there's always a balance between what do we preserve historically and what do we make functional for a modern family.
In the wild heart of Yellowstone National Park, home to geysers, bears, and deep forest, rumors swirl of something larger than folklore. Locals tell of towering footprints, tree shakes at midnight, and colossal shadows moving through pine and aspen. This isn't just the usual legend of Bigfoot. It's bigger, faster, and far more dangerous than any campfire monster story. And the wilderness still hides secrets worse than you imagined. The remote monster lake. The vastness of Lake Iliamna is staggering, covering about 1,012.5 square miles and reaching a maximum depth of approximately 988 feet. It stands as the largest lake in Alaska. Remoteness defines it. No direct roads access many parts of the shoreline. Float planes dominate travel in and out of settlements such as Pedro Bay and Kokonok. The lake drains into the ocean via the Kvichak River, meaning marine creatures could theoretically enter from Bristol Bay, a rare freshwater marine corridor. For hundreds of years, indigenous groups in the region, particularly the Tlingit people and nearby Aleut communities, shared stories of enormous creatures stirring in the deep water. These aren't modern legends. For generations, locals spoke of beings that capsized boats or haunted the still surface after the annual salmon runs. When modern pilots and fishermen began sharing site reports in the mid-20th century, they were doing more than chasing folklore. They were revisiting old warnings in new lights. In 1942, a bush pilot described dark masses beneath his float plane that stretched longer than his pontoons and moved in uncanny synchrony. That testimony alone amplified the lake's mystery, that the lake also hosts one of the world's only permanent colonies of freshwater seals adds another layer of hidden ecosystem complexity. The ecosystem is rich and deep, yet mostly unexplored. Vast underwater zones remain unmapped, the cold depths little trafficked. In such a setting, a creature could hide. The question isn't just whether something lives there, it's how long it has remained unseen. From ancient stories to modern aviation accounts, the lake's mystery grew. But the real turning point came when indigenous folklore aligned with pilot sightings and equipment damage. The next section tracks how legend moved into the realm of eyewitness testimony, and how the monster began to be described in detail and from above the water. Legend of the Deep. Long before sonar or sonar rigs, the Tlingit spoke of the being they called Gonakadet, often translated as water wolf. In Aleut tongue, the name appears as Jigiknak. These creatures were said to travel in packs, appear during salmon run seasons, and surface under calm water conditions to capsize small craft. The Alaska Frontier +1. The warnings are specific. Don't splash in certain channels, don't clean fish over deep water, avoid venturing alone when the lake mirrors still at twilight or under moonlight. These aren't fairy tales, they're survival tactics. The continuity of these warnings for centuries suggests they may encode environmental memory of something real. The lake's cold depth, sudden weather shifts, and remote shoreline made it hazardous. The creature may have been symbolic, but also literal. In the villages of Kokonok and Inchaluk, elders continue to mark no-go zones along the bay, where unsolved disappearances and damaged boats accumulate. When pilots began reporting massive dark shapes beneath their planes in the 1940s and beyond, their descriptions eerily echoed the older stories. A 1942 flight by bush pilot Babe Olsworth and passenger Bill Hammersley noted creatures moving beneath at about 300 feet, exhibiting side-to-side tails, just like the legend said. To locals, this isn't simply myth, it's agency and awareness of danger. For tens of generations, the lake was respected. Now, modern science and anecdote meet, and the old stories echo in new data. What was whispered in the dark is now being recorded. Folklore offered the map, but pilots provided the coordinates. When eyewitnesses began photographing huge shadows and recording the aftermath of massive forces, damage and data replaced campfire tales. Now the story enters the realm of physical evidence. Hooked cables, sonar blips, missing divers, and the question becomes, what could be doing this? Giant shadows from above. In September 1942, floatplane pilot Babe Olsworth and his passenger Bill Hammersley circled the northern region of Lake Iliamna. They reported seeing several dozen creatures beneath the water, each longer than the plane's 15-foot pontoons, aluminium-colored, moving in formation. The bodies were thick, cylindrical, with blunt heads and side-to-side tail motion, not up and down like whales. These descriptions baffled them, and remain inconsistent with any known Alaskan aquatic animal. A similar incident in 1977 involved pilot Tim Laporte flying near Pedro Bay around 4:30 p.m. He spotted a dark shape at the surface estimated at 14 feet minimum height. When the plane's shadow passed overhead, the creature arched like a cat stretching, then dove vertically, visible tail for nearly 30 seconds. Impossible behavior for a seal or sturgeon. Multiple pilots over decades captured footage of dark masses, often over 20 feet long, swimming beneath the surface in remote lake zones. One 2003 account from Kokonok described fins standing 8 foot high on a flat, calm day, emerging from a 350 to 400 foot long body gliding toward shore. These aren't isolated misidentifications. They form a pattern of large unknown objects moving beneath the surface. The repeated nature of these sightings, credible pilots, consistent details, remote settings, pushes the phenomenon beyond legend and into evidence. When trained observers describe the same strange presence over decades, the question isn't just whether it exists, but what it is. Above the lake surface, the story becomes visible, but below, things get violent. Damage to gear, unexplained sonar returns, and missing persons turn sight science into threat science. In the next section, we move underwater, into steel hooks and dragged cobbles, where the monster leaves its mark, and scientists begin to take note. Hooked, straightened, and towed. In 1959, an oil-funded expedition led by Tom Slick placed a baited steel hook into Lake Iliamna's depths. Caribou meat lashed to a 3,000-pound test line. Hours later, the line went taut, then slack. The hook was recovered bent into a near-straight line, a feat requiring a force exceeding what any known fish or mammal could deliver. Other incidents echo this violence. Floatplane operators in the 1960s and 1970s reported sudden jerks on their anchored pontoons while fishing in the northern cove. In one case, a steel strut connecting the pontoons was snapped mid-drag. The pilot described a pulling force, unlike anything he'd experienced in 25 years of flying. Sonar surveys from 1999 to 2015 attempted to trace the movement of large lake entities. At depths beyond 600 feet, objects larger than 20 feet in length appeared moving at speeds exceeding 8 knots, only to vanish when followed by a second sonar sweep. No known sturgeon, gar, or seal exhibits such velocity at that depth. In 2019, a team from Alaska Public Media proposed a full environmental DNA, eDNA, test. While not all permits were granted, initial sample retrieval suggested non-native genetic traces, pending peer-reviewed confirmation. The lake, it seems, isn't just swallowing legends, it's resisting measurement. The monster, if real, doesn't just show itself. It leaves physical evidence: bent steel, missing pilots, sonar ghosts. But the deeper mystery lies not just in the scars, but in what lives beneath them. Now, science steps in. Theories abound, from sturgeon to sleeper sharks, but few can explain what comes next. The unknown species hypothesis. Mainstream science approached the mystery cautiously. One proposed explanation is the white sturgeon, a fish known to reach 20 feet in exceptional cases. But sturgeons lack the observed behaviors: metallic sheen, speed, or pack coordination. They are bottom dwellers, sluggish, and solitary. Another theory suggests a Pacific sleeper shark that may have entered the lake via the Kvichak River. These sharks can survive at deep-sea pressures, adapt to cold, and grow over 23 feet. But again, no known sleeper sharks can twist steel or leap vertically from freshwater shallows. The behaviors don't align. The lake's unique water chemistry, cold, oxygen-rich, and glacial, makes it plausible that an unknown species, possibly a relic from the Pleistocene, might persist. With depths beyond 988 feet and near constant darkness in the lower zones, Lake Iliamna may hide creatures that never surface, except under rare conditions. None of the existing species hypotheses fully account for observed pack behavior, damage to metal, or synchronized sightings over 80 years. The scientific stance remains agnostic. Data are limited, and proof is elusive, but enough anomalies exist to warrant serious attention. Something, perhaps multiple somethings, are down there, and they aren't acting alone. If Lake Iliamna hides a prehistoric predator, it doesn't just stay hidden, it reacts. And sometimes, the reaction is deadly. From boat wrecks to vanished divers, people have started to go missing. The story now shifts from theory to tragedy as evidence becomes personal and possibly fatal in the lake's silent depths.
Disappearances and diving into danger.
Reports of disappearances on Lake Iliamna are rare but unsettling. Since the 1950s, several fishing parties have gone missing. Boats were later found drifting, engines cut, with no trace of the occupants. Locals recall at least 5 such events between 1955 and 2005, but few made headlines beyond the region. One of the most disturbing cases occurred in 2008, when commercial diver Mark Thompson was part of an underwater inspection near a cove west of Pedro Bay. Midway through the dive, his tether line went slack. He never resurfaced. The recovered camera, heavily scratched, showed a brief flash of what appeared to be a large eye reflecting the dive light. In 1999, a Japanese documentary crew deployed an ROV, remotely operated vehicle, into the 700-foot depths. Contact was lost after it entered what looked like a cavern. The boat itself suffered structural damage during the retrieval, with a 2-foot dent in the hull. The crew described hearing a low hum before impact. None of these incidents offer definitive proof, but they suggest danger beyond environment alone. Experts caution that lake conditions, cold shock, currents, and poor visibility can explain some losses. Yet, when combined with sonar anomalies, damaged gear, and sudden vanishings, they paint a darker possibility. Something beneath Lake Iliamna might not want to be found. Sightings become damage. Damage becomes disappearance. But what if it's not one creature at all? In the next section, witnesses speak of multiple monsters, coordinated in movement, intelligent in behavior. If true, Lake Iliamna may host not just a predator, but a pack. And in fresh water, that's something science has never seen. Coordinated hunters. In 2017, 6 witnesses near Cook Inlet claimed to observe not one, but 6 massive creatures surfacing simultaneously near the northern end of Lake Iliamna. The largest, they estimated, stretched between 50 and 60 feet, its head broad and rounded like a submarine hull, followed by blunt dorsal ridges. They rose, blue mist-like whales, then submerged in synchrony. Coordinated behavior has been echoed elsewhere. Fishermen have described being herded by unseen forces, nets tightened unexpectedly, salmon driven into shallow traps, almost as if something guided the schools. One account from 1995 reported a net full of sockeye torn open in a clean arc, suggesting not teeth, but massive precision. Biologists from the University of Alaska set up thermal cameras in 2020. The sensors captured moving heat signatures in water temperatures below 4 degrees Celsius, a contradiction, as cold-blooded animals shouldn't emit detectable heat. Whatever was moving under the surface, it was metabolically active and big. These data points suggest intelligence. The creatures appear to avoid traps, exploit shadows, and only surface in calm or dusk conditions. If real, we're not dealing with a lone survivor of an extinct lineage. We're witnessing something thriving, calculating, and possibly hunting in groups. A single monster is a mystery. A group becomes a system. Coordinated hunters raise the stakes, from cryptid to ecosystem force. But what would such creatures mean for science, safety, and the lake itself? The next section explores what's truly at stake, from fishing industries to the scientific rewriting of freshwater biology. Ecosystem and mystery. Lake Iliamna supports one of the world's largest sockeye salmon runs. Tens of millions of fish flow from the Kvichak River into Bristol Bay annually. A predator large enough to drag boats and kill selectively could shift the lake's ecological balance. Biologists studying food web dynamics since 2001 have found unexplained fluctuations. If such a predator exists, it would challenge our understanding of what freshwater lakes can support. Inland aquatic predators of 30+ feet are unknown to science. It would suggest either a new species or a hidden apex organism surviving undetected in North America's last wilderness. The implications go beyond biology. Tourism, fisheries, and aviation would all face new risks. Iliamna's economy depends on fishing lodges, float plane tours, and salmon exports. Discovery of such creatures could provoke protection measures, rerouting of routes, and reclassification of the lake as a dangerous body. Culturally, the fusion of ancient indigenous lore and modern science would validate the deep knowledge passed down by the Tlingit and Aleut peoples. Cryptozoology, once dismissed, could find new legitimacy, and perhaps most importantly, it would prove something still humbling, that the wild still holds secrets powerful enough to elude us for centuries. With impact comes urgency. The lake's mystery isn't just academic, it's economic, cultural, and potentially catastrophic. The next section explores what scientists must do next, from advanced eDNA sampling to sonar arrays. If the predator is real, proof demands more than stories. It demands rigorous, repeatable, and brave investigation of the unknown. What scientists must do. In 2019, a research team proposed deploying full-spectrum eDNA, environmental DNA, sampling across Iliamna's 988-foot depths. Such analysis could detect even trace genetic material from unknown organisms, but logistical costs and permits have delayed efforts. Thermal and acoustic monitoring is another next step. In 2021, University of Alaska researchers piloted underwater microphones in the lake's southern trench. They picked up low-frequency pulses at 3 a.m., repeating every 43 seconds for over an hour. No known species matches the sound. The team recommended expanding the array to 7 nodes. Deep camera deployment has also been attempted. A 2020 expedition managed to install 2 cameras at 600 feet, but one was damaged within days, possibly by sediment or something else. Only murky silhouettes were recorded before the equipment failed. Collaboration with indigenous elders is essential. Mapping forbidden zones from Tlingit oral history and overlapping it with sonar data may reveal patterns missed by modern tools alone. Peer-reviewed publication, transparency, and public engagement will ensure the science isn't lost in sensationalism. Discovery must come with responsibility. The investigation is underway, but the clock is ticking. Every sonar blip, broken camera, or missing diver adds to the case. And yet, the biggest question remains unanswered. Is this a monster, a hidden evolutionary miracle, or something else entirely? We end by facing the ultimate mystery beneath Iliamna's waves. Monster, myth, or ecosystem surprise. If Lake Iliamna's predator is real, it could be a surviving prehistoric species, a modern mosasaur, an unknown giant fish, or a freshwater cephalopod. Its ability to drag steel, hunt in groups, and evade detection challenges 150 years of biological assumptions. Some still argue it's all myth, misidentified sturgeons, exaggerated stories, or local folklore amplified by time. But when steel is bent, gear is lost, and pilots report identical sightings decades apart, doubt starts to falter. The monster may not be mythical, it may be misunderstood. If confirmed, it would become one of the largest predators in any freshwater system on Earth. The lake would become a global research site, demanding new conservation laws and cautionary access. Scientists, locals, and adventurers alike would face the truth. Something immense is out there, and we know almost nothing about it. And yet, mystery endures. In the end, whether the creature is monster, marvel, or missing link, its presence proves one thing. In our age of satellite maps and deep-sea drones, nature still hides secrets, and Lake Iliamna, cold, deep, and silent, might hold one of the greatest. If Yellowstone's version of Bigfoot is real, it changes everything. Our safety, our science, even our understanding of wilderness. Maybe it's a prehistoric relic. Maybe it's an undiscovered species. Either way, the evidence just won't go away. Footprints fade, cameras vanish, the forest goes silent, and the monster walks on. In Yellowstone's depths, the chase is on. Because some legends aren't meant for myths, they're meant for survival.